What is up, everybody? Welcome into this episode of It's Called Football. And Jackson, we have a good episode coming up. A lot of exciting action this past weekend in the Premier League, second match weekend of the season. A lot of goals, some pretty straightforward results. One kind of late winner that I know we're both celebrating deep down and celebrated when it happened. But besides that, we'll take a look at the matches upcoming this weekend because as we were saying before we started, this weekend is stacked. Lots of entertaining fixtures, including the big rivalry, Man United and Liverpool, plus West Ham, Man City, Arsenal, Brighton in a top-of-the-table clash, and Newcastle, Tottenham. So all that stuff. We may even touch a bit on the Champions League groups of just like who everyone's playing because that happened today. We are recording Thursday afternoon. I still don't understand the new format. I don't like it. It is what it is, but it's weird. Before we start, how are you doing, Jackson?
I'm good. I'm ready to get talking about some footy. Favorite time of the week right here.
Oh, perfect, because we're kicking it off with your boys. Arsenal, 2-0 win at Aston Villa. Little sketchy for the first half, I'd say. Nothing too convincing, but kind of took over when Leandro Trossard came on.
Yeah, and he made a statement because you could see it in his face. He was pissed he wasn't starting. And he made a statement about as well as he could. Literally, first touch, I think, or first few touches, he scores a goal. So, and then you can see it on his face, like, just kind of that, like, indignant, like, yeah, that's who I am. That's why I should be starting. That energy that he brought off the bench is how a team goes and wins the league. When guys are pissed off, they're not playing, and rather than sulking, they come in and they go and score a goal. That right there is huge. You know, like if the whole team can act like that, then Arsenal is going to be so successful. Because he came in, his goal right there changed the game. Because Arsenal should have conceded. Let's be completely honest. Ollie Watkins, I know the first one was offside. He should have buried that. And then the header should have buried that. Remarkable save from David Raya. Like I still don't know how he saved that. Like it was incredible, and that's why he's the number one. But yeah, he should have scored that. Aston Villa should have been winning, but then Arsenal held in there. Trossard comes off the bench and he changes the game. And then Partey 10 minutes later. Yeah. I hate to be this guy. I think Emi Martinez should have saved it. You know, near post on the ground. I know it's tough. It was hit with pace. I think he just reacted a little bit late. But at the end of the day, it was a good shot. Put it in the corner. 2-0 up. Great win for Arsenal. Great win for my boys because heading into that game, I thought we were going to lose. I straight up did. You know, Villa is looking good. They don't have the distraction of Champions League yet, so we're still waiting to see how that balance happens once they enter it. We saw Newcastle fail miserably last year when they did it. But Villa didn't have any of that right now, so they're still fresh. They're looking good. I was really nervous about going to Villa Park and trying to get a win, and exactly what we did. We didn't do it last year. Yeah. This year, we go in, get that win, and I'm feeling really positive about the future for Arsenal at this point because you went into one of the toughest places to play. It's one of the best teams you're going to play and got a 2-0 victory. That's, remarkable. Tough stretch coming up, like really tough stretch coming up. So to get those points there, that's huge because I realistically, we're going to drop points at some point here in the next few games. We got Man City away. That's one that I just don't think we'll end up winning. We got some other tough ones thrown in there like Tottenham and Brighton. So the fact that we're able to get the points here is massive.
Oh, yeah. And even more so the confidence boost that this gives you. Last season, you lose 1-0 at Aston Villa. You lose 2-0 at home. I think this was the only team Arsenal didn't get a point against last season. Coming out in the second match of the year, getting this and winning it in the way you did where it's ugly, you survived, fended it off, and then go away to win 2-0 on the road is massive for the boost of confidence. And it was a good performance by everybody. I think this, you mentioned Raya and how he had a couple great saves. This is part of the reason why he's the number one. And they just sent Aaron Ramsdale to Southampton.
And it's unfortunate.
It is. It's unfortunate. Ramsdale had so much potential and still does. It's not like he's off completely, but big moves by David Raya. And a reason he's staying around is for things like this and a reason that Arsenal keeps winning.
Yeah. And Ramsdale's going to end up at a top club again, like really soon, I think, eventually. This is just you get guaranteed playing time. Most clubs at this point have their starting keeper, especially the bigger clubs, so he's not going to be able to break in. He will eventually, but David Raya was phenomenal. He won man of the match, and he won it for a reason because he was absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, he was. And now we're going to move to another game that ended up being very, very exciting. Brighton hosting Man United. Brighton got off to a quick start with Danny Welbeck getting his second goal of the season. Already has 2 goals and an assist. So pretty strong start for him.
Yeah.
Man U goes down. They score. Early on in the second half, I think it was Ahmed Diallo got the goal to bring it back level. 10 minutes later, Joshua Zirkzee, in his second match for the club, scored the winner in his first, has a chance, but it wasn't necessarily him. It's he got in the way.
Garnacho,
man. Could have been a goal from Garnacho.
Mm-hmm.
Garnacho played it beautifully, put it in. Zirkzee had no need to touch it. The ball was in the back of the net already. Somehow gets his knee on it, called offside. Goal does not stand. And sure enough, the 95th minute, João Pedro rises up, heads the ball home, and gives Brighton a 2-1 victory.
Mm-hmm. Brighton looks good, man. Tell you what, I didn't know how this team would do with Fabian Hurtzweller as their coach. Young guy, inexperienced. I mean, I guess he was in the Bundesliga, but Premier League's a whole different ballgame. And I think he's only 31 years old. Like, he's younger than some of the players playing in the league. Like, a fair amount of the players playing in the league. They are flying under him. Danny Welbeck, 2 goals in 2 games. Almost had a third, hit the crossbar with a header in this one. Brighton looks good, man. They look really good. I know it's early. There's only been 2 games. Don't know how good Manchester United is, and we don't know how good Everton is. I'm assuming not very, based on what we've seen so far. But Brighton's look pretty good, and I mean, it sets up a really good clash this weekend with Arsenal, both teams kind of getting big wins. I'm really curious to see how Brighton's going to show up in this one. If they can continue to play like they've been playing, look dangerous in the attack, which I think they will be. Their attack is looking great. Welbeck's obviously eventually going to slow down with the goal-scoring form. Every striker except for Erling Haaland does. But it's going to be who else can step up, and they've got plenty of guys who can step up. That's the thing that's kind of concerning. So that'll be a really good clash, I think. It'll be a better one than people would have thought looking at the first 5 games of the season before the season. Now it's like, we got to be alert. If you're Arsenal, you got to be alert because this Brighton team can score, they can attack, and they will punish you if you mess up, as shown with the Manchester United game at the very end, where I don't know what they were doing with the defending. I don't know how he was available to just head it in like that. That's terrible at the end of the game. Yeah. But that's what happens when you make mistakes against teams like this. They will punish you. And if Brighton can keep finding those opportunities, because teams will ultimately mess up, they could be really dangerous as the season keeps going.
Oh, yeah. Not saying it was a complete correlation, but Man U brought on Matthias de Ligt, who I think this was his debut. His debut. And sure enough, he's part of the reason he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And ball falls perfectly to João Pedro. And if it didn't fall to him, it was going to fall to the guy right behind him. There were 2 Brighton players there ready to put it away. And the scenes in the South Shore when they finished this off were great. And it's one that, from the Man U side of things, sure, Brighton is top of the table. It looks pretty solid at the moment, but it is 2 games in. You're Man U. This is not one you should be losing, especially after all the excitement of the first game of the season, getting a 1-0 late winner against Fulham. You're like, okay, we're ready to go. Then come out and lay this egg. Not a great look when you have Liverpool waiting in the shadows.
No.
So it's going to be a tough sailing for Man U, I think, if they continue playing like this. And they weren't terrible, but it's kind of expected.
They look uninspired.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the word I would use. They don't look bad. Like, they're still going to finish in the top half of the table, for sure. Like, I don't have any fear that they'll fall below, but they just look uninspired when they play. And Brighton, they look like they were inspired, like the complete opposite, like they're the ones who were pushing. They're the ones who pushed at the very end and got the goal. And obviously, Man U had to play from behind. I do think Ahmed Diallo is a great player. Like, great young player that they've got. I think they've got some really good young attackers that they can build off in the future. And I don't think Ten Hag's realistically going to be around for that much longer. So whoever they bring in has got to build around them, go with that approach. I think they've got some serious potential with their attack. But we just talked about it. Defensively, they're still just an absolute shit show. Yep. And if they want to figure it out this year, they need to figure that out now. And what sucks for them is they can't just go away from that and play like Ipswich or someone like that this weekend. They got to go against a team that's just scoring goals for fun. So, out of the frying pan into the fire probably this weekend. Maybe they'll surprise us, this rivalry game. But they need to figure things out defensively because right now it's not it. And De Ligt, obviously, he's going to end up starting. Maybe he'll make the difference. Maybe he'll be the one to solve things. I'm not fully confident. I think it's more just systemic of the team, and it's going to be hard for one individual center back to kind of sort it all out. I think it's a problem that they're going to have to solve, maybe with the new manager or maybe just bring in more and more players who can buy into a more solid back line.
And that's the question. If De Ligt does start, does he start over Harry Maguire, over Lisandro Martinez?
I would start him over Maguire.
Yeah.
I'd keep Lisandro. I think Lisandro's got good defensive energy. You can have De Ligt be more the holder and Lisandro be more the hunter.
Mm-hmm. I still think the whole, at least for Man U's attacking side of things, is why is Bruno the number 10? Why is he the number 9? Why is he playing up top? He's not that position. The way they had it lined up, I would have had Rashford where he was, moved Mason Mount out to the wing and played Bruno back. I think that creates more, gives you more ability to stretch the field, use more Rashford's pace up top. Because it's not exactly like Brighton's a young team. They have a couple of youngsters, but also like a Danny Welbeck. He's like 33 or 34. Same with Lewis Dunk. James Milner is starting in their midfield. I think this is his 20th season in the Premier League.
He's been around for a minute. Yeah.
He was there when Leeds were first or last in the Premier League before this recent time.
That's crazy to think.
He made his debut with Leeds, so that shows how long he's been playing in the Premier League because we were relegated in 2004. So well over 20 years for him. And that's what makes this even funnier is it's not like it's a bunch of star players. It's a bunch of has-beens and guys that are trying to make a name for themselves. But it's footy for you. Next one, kind of going to wrap just 3 up in this one. There were a shit ton of goals this weekend.
A lot.
Man City put up 4 against Ipswich, an Erling Haaland hat trick. Is he already a shoe-in for the Golden Boot?
Yeah. I felt like he was a shoe-in before the season even started. Like, anyone who's doing a Premier League fantasy draft, whoever got first pick is so happy because they're probably going to win the league. Because this man's going to bang in goals consistently. Even when he's out of form, he's still scoring roughly a goal every just under 2 games, which is still remarkable. Like, this was coming. We knew it was coming. I can't believe they let Ipswich score that early. Like,
they went down.
Yeah, down 1-0 in the 7th minute. Ball somehow slid through Ederson's legs. Like, the weirdest thing. Suddenly Ipswich is up. It's like, wow. Like, I walked into our team locker room, and they had the game up on TV. I walk in, and it's 1-0 just like that. I'm like, there's just no way. Yeah, that lasted, how long was that?
Lasted 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes, penalty kick, and then 14th minute De Bruyne, 16th minute Haaland again. 3-1, just like that, game's done. Which was crazy because literally,
within 9 minutes of them taking the lead, it was within 9 minutes of them taking the lead, opening the scoring, it was suddenly 3-1.
Yeah, which is just absolutely demoralizing. And they were just getting played through, man. Like, they were just getting run through. It looked like they had no answer. You'd shift here and suddenly a guy's open over there. You do this, suddenly the ball's up over there.
It honestly is amazing. Yeah. It wasn't more than 4.
It should have been. I mean, Rico Lewis hit the crossbar from point-blank range.
It should have been like 6 or 7, in my opinion. Or a very low.
And I feel bad for Ipswich because I thought they actually had a really good first game against Liverpool. They were defending for their lives, did really well, took them till the second half to get broken down. This one, the moment there's a goal, just game over. They just didn't know how to respond. And that's a problem for –
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's a problem for a team that just got promoted because you're going to get scored on. So if you can't find a way to react positively to that and get yourself back into games, you're just going to get run through the whole year because they're going to give up goals. It's a newly promoted team. They just got up from League One a couple seasons ago, they're going to concede goals. They just need to find a way to not let it just completely make them fall apart. Because that's what happened to this one. Obviously, it's against Manchester City, the best team in the league. And from a City perspective, you got to be pissed that you gave up that first goal. But then after that, business as usual. The back line and Ederson are going to be pissed. Pep's going to be pissed about it. But after that, you took care of business. No problem. So they should generally be happy with that. And they're looking really good to start the year. They're top of the table right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Pep is the boys flying. You're saying Ipswich, they held Liverpool, then they gave up 2 goals in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They gave up 3 goals in 4 minutes in this one.
Twice now.
And don't get me wrong, these are arguably on paper two of the top 3, if not the top 2 teams in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Brutal stretch. Also brutal for Ipswich is the fact that they got knocked out of the cup against the League 2 side.
Yeah.
So tough sailing ahead for Ipswich. But nonetheless, battered on the road by Man City. They just need a break. They just need someone they can at least compete with.
Yeah, give them Forest, Southampton, give them Leicester, give them someone that they could actually maybe get a result against. None of these Manchester City, Liverpool.
You look at who's next for them. Fulham at home, away to Brighton, away to Southampton, which they could do. And then home to Aston Villa and away to West Ham.
Tough.
And those aren't even the big dogs, but that's just tough.
It's just tough.
God. Yeah, they're going to – I think they bounce right back down.
I do too. I think they finished last.
Moving on just to some other high-scoring ones. Heung-Min Son had 2 goals for Tottenham in a 4-0 battering of Everton.
Everton, man. I had high hopes they can maybe turn it around this year. They look miserable these first couple games.
Yeah, but we've seen this time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
I want Everton to go down so badly this season.
It's coming.
It's yet to ever come.
I know, but you figure at this point it's got to be coming with how they flirt with it every single year.
Oh, yeah. Even last year, they had the point deductions, and they still managed to survive.
Crazy.
Nonetheless, Son got a pair of goals. Bissouma opened up the scoring. Christian Romero made it 3-0. Pretty dominant by Spurs, as much as you would dislike to say. They looked good against Everton.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we could put 11 people from Vendetta on the field, and we'd look good against Everton at this current point.
Yeah, dude. And I feel like only maybe 4 of us max have really played soccer. Yeah, that's how rough they look right now.
Yeah, it's tough sailing. They have Bournemouth up next. That's going to be ugly. It's going to be very, very ugly because they didn't exactly inspire. Well, I guess they got the 1-1 draw, but
yeah,
should have won that one.
It will not be a fun one to watch.
No. And the other one that I want to just mention, throw out there, 6 goals scored by Chelsea at Wolves. It was 2 minutes in for Nico Jackson, who's looked much, much, much better this season so far. Still early, but he looks like the player everyone thought he could have been last year or when he was signed. However, ended up 2-2 at the halftime. And then 14-minute hat trick by Noni Menduk. Pretty much put this away. Made it 5-2, and Chelsea pretty much ran away. João Felix got his first goal. Alpha Pedro Neto assist. Chelsea are going to be just okay this year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, this game, they looked a lot better than I thought they would. I think prediction-wise, I was thinking Wolves might win this one. I thought they had the players to be dangerous, and really made Chelsea pay. And to be fair, they did get 2 goals on him, but when you score in the second minute, the game really should be yours because right there you have them immediately on the back foot, and Chelsea took full advantage. They're sure they only got 2 in the first half, but pretty impressive that what was it? Wasn't it 2-2 at half?
Yeah, because Wolves scored in the 6th minute of stoppage time.
Yeah, so the fact that they were able to keep going second half and get 4 more is remarkable from them. Palmer,
it was quick. It was really, really quick in the second half. Made one time substitution, brought on Pedro Neto, took off Mudryk. Coincidence that ends up helping you? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm still anti-Mudryk.
I am as well. But 3 minutes in, or I guess 4 minutes in total, they're or 3. Yeah, they score. And then a few minutes later, another one. It was very quick starts to both halves for Chelsea, and you've preached on this show time and time again. First 5 minutes, last 5 minutes of halves. If you can score in those, it's just demoralizing. And I think that's kind of what we saw with Chelsea and Wolves this weekend.
Yeah, but again, really good from Chelsea. I didn't know what Chelsea team would show up, and this one did. You get a hat trick from Madueke. You get a hat trick of assists from Palmer plus a goal. You get Nico Jackson getting on the score sheet. João Felix, new signing, he's back. He gets on the score sheet. They looked really good. And to do it on the road as well, that's huge. Still don't think they're going to end up in Champions League, but these are very good early signs for Enzo Maresca and company.
Absolutely agree. And then, hey, it's a step in the right direction for Chelsea.
That's what everything is at this point. It's getting back to where you were. We've seen multiple clubs fall off. Arsenal's still trying to get all the way back to the top. They've done a good job of getting there. Chelsea's got to do the same thing now. They got to just slowly build. And they're taking their interesting approach. Maybe it'll end up panning out one day where we just throw shit on the wall and see what sticks. Maybe it works, but it seemed like it worked this game. So we'll see if they continue to perform as the season goes on. But really good signs from them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, good win, good way to turn things around after a 2-0 loss at home on the opening day to Man City. Not one you expect to win, but they looked good in that one, or decent for the first 80 minutes, then kind of collapsed, gave up a second, and that was that. Are there any other matches from this past weekend that you want to touch on at all before we look ahead at this upcoming week's action?
Liverpool looks solid again.
Yeah.
They're doing well. Bournemouth, they're doing better than I thought they'd be doing. I thought Newcastle had that in the bag for sure. So
Bournemouth scored late, and it was VAR ruled it out for a foul. So
they're looking good. West Ham did well to get a rebound. And Forest, I know they're playing teams that they probably should be getting results against, but they've looked all right as well. They've done 4 out of 2 games.
And what you say right there, against teams they should be beating, that's what separates you from being a relegated side and avoiding the relegation battle altogether. Beating the teams around you, beating the teams you should compete with and be able to beat. That's what will separate you. And Forest has done a good start with that so far.
Mm-hmm.
Looking ahead now to this upcoming week, as we mentioned at the top of the show, a lot of exciting matches. We went with our match of the week for the historic purposes, probably the biggest rivalry in the Premier League or in English football in general. Man U hosting Liverpool. I'll let you kick this one off. What are you expecting? And does Man U have any way to stop Salah, Diaz, and company?
I don't think so. Liverpool is looking really good to start the year out. They look solid. They're scoring their goals. They're defending pretty well. And by pretty well, I mean they haven't conceded. So, they're defending really well, to put it that way.
It can't be any better.
Yeah, I mean, they've been perfect. Mo Salah looks really good. Luis Diaz probably should be scoring a little bit more than he has so far, but he's looking dangerous. They're just looking very solid, and I just really don't see any way that Man U wins this game, except for the fact that they're playing at home. Maybe they can ride the wave a little bit of the Old Trafford fan base, but I just haven't seen enough from Man U in these first 2 games to give me any confidence. Fulham game, they got a late winner, but they didn't look great in that. This Brighton game, they lose off a late goal. Didn't look great in that. defensively, they still just look shambolic. And against a team that can attack like Liverpool can, I think that's really going to come back to bite them in the ass. Salah's going to be able to get in. Jota, if he plays, is going to be dangerous. Diaz is going to be dangerous. They're going to have all these different players who can make an impact offensively, and I just don't think the back line of Manchester United is going to be able to do with it. And fun fact, I think Man U hasn't won in their last 11 games against Liverpool. I need to check that real quickly. But I'm pretty sure, they've won once in their last 12 games against Liverpool. So recently Liverpool's dominated this as well. And that kind of just shows the shift from where we were just a few years ago. Well, more than a few years ago, but when we were younger and Man U was the team in England.
Dominated everybody.
And Liverpool went through their little period where they were down, and they had to do their rebuilding period to where we are now. I still think you're going to continue to see that Liverpool domination. We haven't seen Man U really find that form that makes you confident in them being title contenders again. And that's going to show in this against a team that is going to be a title contender. And again, Liverpool's looked really good these first two games. Manchester United has looked mid, to say the least. Give me Liverpool. Give me 2-0. They like that scoreline. I'm going to give it to them again this week. 2-0. Mo Salah gives on the score sheet.
I like it. I do think Liverpool kind of runs away with this at the end. It's also funny, I'm doing a little bit of research here. A Manchester-born man is refereeing in Anthony Taylor. Here are the scores the last 3 times he's managed Man U Liverpool. Did it at the end of last season, 2-2 draw. 5 yellow cards for Man U, 2 for Liverpool. Then the one previously was in the 2021-2022 season. Liverpool won 5-0 at Old Trafford, 6 yellows for Man U and a red. Season before, 4-2 Liverpool, 3 yellows for Man U.
We found a City fan.
We have indeed found a City fan. But it's just funny that he's managed so many of these Man U games, and at least against Liverpool, it's always seems to be cards galore, just something to keep an eye on that. 2 teams that don't like each other at all, 2 fan bases that don't like each other. I think that'll be fun. I don't know what really relation it'll have to the game of this game with Anthony Taylor refereeing, but I'm here for some chaos and some violence for it, so why not?
Yeah. Hey, that's what makes rivalries great.
Exactly. But in the end, we talked earlier about how bad Man U's defense is, how shaky, how questionable it is. Liverpool, on the other hand, offenses look brilliant. Midfield's a little above average, I guess.
They've looked adequate.
Yeah, they've done what they had
adequate plus. Yeah.
Yeah. Defensively, they've been stout, as you said, not having given up a goal yet this season. Even in the cup games, they haven't conceded. So give me Liverpool. I'm going to go 2-1. I do think they do concede, but I think it's one of those late ones where Man U tries to get back into it.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, looking at some other ones, that game will be Sunday afternoon, the 11 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. It's your late game. Some of the ones on Saturday that we want to touch on, starting off the first one of the entire weekend, Arsenal and Brighton. Top of the table clash, or at least 2 of the top teams tied with 6 points. How confident are you for Arsenal in this one? Because we saw what Brighton did last week, but they were at home. This is at the Emirates.
Yeah.
I honestly like Arsenal's chances here.
I do too. I'm going to give them credit in this one. I didn't really give them credit heading into the Villa game. That's probably just the fan of me speaking, but defensively we look stout, and it's not just because of the back four, the center back partnership. It's because of David Raya. He gives me so much confidence when he's in goal because he makes phenomenal saves and he's going to be able to play out with his feet. And then you have Saliba, Gabriel in front of him. I feel very solid that they'll be able to mitigate Brighton's chaos. They're going to be able to handle it. So I'm going to go and say we win 2-0.
Okay.
I could see a world where we mess up and Brighton scores, obviously, and they get their chances. Danny Welbeck's returning to the Emirates, so that'll be a fun little welcome back. Yeah. But I'm really hoping it doesn't end up with him getting his 3rd goal in 3 games or possibly 4th. I'm hoping we shut him down. I do feel confident in it. I like Timber as a left back. I like his athleticism. I like his defensive ability. And pair that, Ben White, I think back four looks really solid. And then attacking-wise, I really like what we have going on from midfield all the way to the front. So I'm going to go Arsenal 2-0. I do feel confident about it, but I could definitely see a world where Brighton finds a way to nick a result.
Yeah, I can also, but I just don't see it happening. I think Arsenal's too good, especially defensively. I think it's going to be very hard for Brighton to break it down. If anyone can, it'll be Danny Welbeck.
Yeah, it will be.
But it was 5-0 on aggregate last season for Arsenal, 2-0 at home, 3-0 away. I think it could be very similar again this season. I am going to go 2-0 as well. I'm going to follow your lead on that one. Just think their defense is too difficult to break down. They're too good attacking to leave things up for grabs. We're going to have another one, West Ham, Man City. That'll be noon or 12:30 Eastern time on Saturday afternoon. Also, what a great day of stuff.
Oh, my
especially on the West Coast. Here's our tangent for the day, folks. West Coast, you get Arsenal and Brighton at 4:30 in the morning.
I'm probably not going to be up for that, but
football,
see the highlights.
All the way through, 11 probably, 11:30 was when the City game will end. Meanwhile, 2 hours earlier, the first Saturday of college football is here.
Let's go.
You already know we're excited for that. So, who do the Hawkeyes play?
We are playing. How am I spacing this? It's someone we should beat.
Yeah.
We are playing. God, Illinois State. I knew it was some FCS team.
Oh,
Illinois State.
Hey, watch out tonight. Or watch out already. We've already had one FCS team win.
They were supposed to win that one, though.
I know. They were just down big going into the fourth. Mm-hmm. North Dakota State's going to win tonight.
I could very well see that.
And that's going to be the big FCS win. CU's so overrated. It's so funny.
Dude, it's unbelievable how overrated they are. Like, I remember last year when they were like, what was it, 2-0? Maybe 3.
I think they went 3-0 to start the season.
3-0, and everyone's like, oh, the hottest team in college football. All this. I was really telling people who were like on board just because of Deion Sanders. I'm like, they're about to play Oregon. They're going to get pistol whipped. And they got
No. They're going to beat Oregon. It's going to be crazy. And you see who they played early on in the season. They barely beat TCU. They beat Nebraska pretty easily. They needed double overtime to beat Colorado State.
Yeah.
And then they promptly get battered by Oregon. I'll give them props where props are due. They kept it close with USC when they were number 8.
That was they did well that game. But USC is also very disappointing last year.
I can't wait for USC this year. Playing LSU to start the season.
Dude, I hope they get cooked in the Big Ten.
Oh, it's gonna be a feast. LSU's about to batter them.
LSU should, yeah.
Hell yeah. But I mean, CU, 15.5-point favorites seems a little extreme today. Or I guess 10.5 it's gone down to, but I don't know about that. Nonetheless, there's our rant. It's going to be the moral of that story is it's going to be a great weekend for sports. Obviously, a whole lot of other stuff that we're not going to hop into, but wrapping up the Saturday fixtures is West Ham and Man City. Does Man City have to worry about West Ham at all? Does West Ham is there anything they can throw their way that'll be like, oh, haven't seen this yet?
I mean, there's always a chance. But City, West Ham haven't won in their last 17 matchups against City, which I think is astounding. 17. They haven't won. They're at home. Maybe they can create some kind of, chaos, some kind of mayhem. If they are to, I think it'll be a set piece. So I don't really see them breaking it down through open play, but I do think they concede multiple goals. Haaland's in form. De Bruyne looks good. I just don't see a world where City loses this game. I'm going to give West Ham a goal. I'll give them a goal, but I think they lose 3-1. I think they concede quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think it's going to be like last year's scores. I like trends. Trends usually seem to stand out. Last year's 2 score lines were 3-1 in both matches. I can see something very similar to that. I don't think it will be. I think it'll be 2-0 again. Seems like usually it's a lot of 2-1s for me. Today it's a lot of 2-0s. I just think defenses are going to hold on. But I just think Man City is far too good. And I was curious. Looking at the lineups from the last time West Ham won, which was September 19th, 2015, was the last time West Ham beat Man City. There's one guy who started for Man City that day, the goal scorer, Kevin De Bruyne.
Crazy.
Raheem Sterling was on the outside, Yaya Toure in midfield, Joe Hart, Gio Aguero. Then also, you look at this other side. Cresswell at left back, Dimitri Payet.
Prime Dimitri Payet was something else.
Dimitri Payet was him. The streets will never forget.
He was unreal until he got all moody.
Yeah. Mark Noble was still starting.
Mark Noble, bro. What a captain.
Lanzini.
Manuel Lanzini, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Diafra Sacco up top.
God, this
is surprisingly, young Michael Antonio, Andy Carroll on the bench as well. God, I'm even looking at Man City's bench. Wilfred Bonny, Iheanacho. What a time.
What a time, bro.
With that being said, that's the last time West Ham won, and it's still going to be after this weekend the last time.
There's no way.
Maybe 2-0. Easy work for Man City. What was your score?
3-1.
3-1.
I gave West Ham a goal.
Yep. We'll see. Newcastle Tottenham is the only other one we're going to go into a bunch of depth with. I'll let you kick this one off. What do you think? At St. James's Park.
I'm going to give it to Tottenham.
Yeah.
I am. Obviously, the Leicester game, it happened, right? But I think they just look so good against Everton. Newcastle, I feel like they just haven't found their legs quite yet. I feel like they're waiting on that Sandro Tonali return until they really get things going again. Whereas Tottenham, I like their defense. I really do. I like the center back partnership between Romero and Van de Ven. And then I like their attack. Son's looking good, So if you can get him working, James Maddison working, you get all them working on the same page, I think they're going to be very hard for any team to deal with this year. I don't think they'll end up being in the title race at the very end. I'm curious to see who's going to start for Tottenham in terms of up top, because we saw Son start their last game. What we're going to do if Brennan Johnson keeps his place. But at the end of the day, I feel very confident that Tottenham will win this game. I'm going to back him. I'm going to back Ange. I'm going to back Tottenham. Hate doing that, but I do respect Ange as a manager, and I think he'll have them up for this game. I'm going Tottenham wins 2-1. Good game.
Okay. I like that. Sandro Tonali is back.
He is back.
He started the cup the other day against Bournemouth or one of the B teams. Who did they play?
So he's back for this game too then?
Yeah. Against Nottingham Forest in the League Cup. He started
his Premier League
game.
So
this will be his first league match back, which I still think it's too early. I think he has some rust to shake off, and it's a much harder team than Nottingham Forest. And they'll actually be playing everybody, I would assume. Yeah. So I'm leaning Tottenham. I think it'll be a very, very grimy game where it's back and forth, a lot of chances. If Callum Wilson, he's listed as day-to-day, if he's healthy, I can see a world where Newcastle wins this at home. And it seems like one that Tottenham could drop. But if he's not, I don't see where the goals are going to come from for Newcastle. They haven't looked great scoring so far. They have a goal in each of their 3 matches, 2 league, 1 cup, 2 draws. It's not the most exciting team, whereas Tottenham, as we just spoke about not too long ago, 4 goals in their last game against Everton. Put up 1 against Leicester, but had many, many, many more chances and should have put up far more in that one. Also, the red card absence for Fabian Schär. He's still suspended with a red card. That's a big loss still for them, for Newcastle. So I think it'll be a little too much. I have Tottenham winning 1-0, but it's very, very much a grimy and close 1-0. Now let's have just a general look at all the other matches, and if there's any that you specifically want to touch in extreme detail on, or
I think we just run through them.
Sounds good. We'll kick it off at the top. Brentford and Southampton. Who do you got?
Remember with Brentford, haven't seen enough from Southampton in the first couple games for me to really start picking them, I think, to get results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just haven't looked great. Brentford, I mean, obviously they've started out the year win against Palace and a loss against Liverpool, but that's against Liverpool. I think they win this one. I think they're pretty comfortable doing so. Give me 2-0.
2-0 Brentford, yep. I like it. I just don't think Southampton's that good.
No.
I obviously also think the whole Ivan Toney thing is playing a toll on Brentford a little bit. But they did find a way to beat Colchester midweek. They found a way to win against Crystal Palace early on. I just don't believe that Southampton's very good. So I'll go Brentford. Not overly confident, but I'm going 1-0 for the Beans. This might be the dumpster fire game of the week. Everton hosting Bournemouth. What are you expecting from this one?
I'm going 1-1. This will be if Everton gets absolutely nuked again this week, this will be the last time I give them any benefit of the doubt. But this game just feels like a 1-1 game to me, especially because it's at Everton. It's at Goodison Park. I think they'll be able to get a goal. Probably going to be a crappy goal. Maybe deflects around, falls to someone back post, also deflects around when they hit it. Bournemouth, probably about the same. I think 1-1 seems like a really fair prediction for this one. I just don't really see either team grabbing the reins and taking control. I see it being 1-1.
I'm with you. I don't think it'll be very dominant one way or another. Just for the memes and to be different, I'm going to take Bournemouth. I'm going to take the Cherries. I have no real reasoning behind it of why, but maybe the whole Neil Maupay situation and how his departure from Everton has been played on so far, and pretty much saying this is a crap place to play and so on and so forth. I'm taking Bournemouth. I'm going to go 2-1. I think both teams score. I think Bournemouth gets lucky at the end, kind of like they didn't have the luck against Newcastle last weekend. I think the luck will be on their side this time, and they'll find a way to get it done. Ipswich hosting Fulham also on Saturday. I don't think this is the one for them. I don't think they quite get their first point back in the Premier League. I think Fulham will get it done. I'm going to go 2-0.
I'm going 2-1. I think Ipswich gets a goal, but Fulham wins.
I like it. Leicester and Aston Villa. I'm taking Aston Villa.
I got to go Villa.
It's going to be Villa relatively comfortable. If there's going to be a blowout this week, I think outside of the ones we've talked about, which Man City and all those teams always have a chance, I think this could be it. I'm taking Aston Villa 3-0.
I'm going Villa 2-0. Leicester showed really well the first time they're at home, but I think Villa is a little bit better than Tottenham, to be completely honest. And it was also first game jitters for Tottenham.
Yeah.
I think Villa is going to be pissed off because they lost 2-0 in a game where they should have taken the lead. And they're going to come out and just take it out against Leicester, get a goal early in the first half, and get that second one and cruise on to the finish line. 2-0.
There you have it. Nottingham Forest and Wolves. Just Wolves bounce back from that 6-2 thrashing.
I think I'm going to give Forest the benefit of the doubt on this one. I'm going to give them 1-0. I mean, they've gotten the results so far. I might as well give it to them. I mean, Wolves is going to need a result to boost the confidence after what just happened last week, especially because I was at home. I feel like Forest has done what they've needed to do so far, and I'm going to back them in this one to get it done again. Could be completely off base with this. I could easily see a world where Wolves goes and wins by multiple goals. But I'm going to give it to Forest. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt with this one. 1-0.
Okay. I'm thinking this might be my draw for the week.
Mm.
I think this could be a very dire match. Both teams haven't looked great so far, and I mean, you got a Wolves benefit of the doubt. Played Chelsea, played Arsenal. As one of those mid-table mediocrity teams, you're not expecting to beat either of those.
Mm.
Beat Burnley in the cup. I'm going 1-1 with this, but it's by no means a confident 1-1. Final one that we haven't touched on. One of the first matches on Sunday, Chelsea hosting Crystal Palace. I really, really, really want to pick Crystal Palace in this one.
Yeah, but I gotta go Chelsea.
Yeah.
There's just no way, especially after how they played last week. I'm going Chelsea. I'm going 3-0.
Okay.
I feel it's going to be interesting because last year we saw a Chelsea team that would play really well one week and then play absolutely shocking the next until the very end of the season. Maybe we get that this year. I don't know. I guess we'll find out after that, and then we could start maybe putting that trend back together. But Palace, man, they just haven't looked good. I just don't think they're going to be able to get it done. I don't think they're going to be able to get a goal. I think Chelsea wins 3-0. I think they carry that momentum into this one.
I think they'll manage to get one, only because they'll be riding the hot feet from the cup match against Norwich, which they won 4-0. But I still think they lose like 3-1, 3 or 4-1. It's going to be rather one-sided. I think Nicholas Jackson continues his quick start and gets another goal for him. Or maybe Manduka, because he has 4 goals in the last 2 matches, one of those being the Conference League qualifier. Yeah.
Even last year, I was saying Matchweek is one of the only ones in their attack who's looking consistently dangerous. Even if he didn't score, he was actually looking consistently dangerous and like he could do something. I'm not surprised at all that he's done what he's done so far. Like, he's a baller. He's straight up a baller. 100%. He's so fast. He's so good at cutting in. I could see him getting on the score sheet in this one again easily. He's a baller. And if he and Palmer can really link throughout the year, they're going to be able to create some really good things, especially going down the right-hand side.
Yes, they can. Who knows? Maybe they will.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to touch on Premier League match week 3 related, or kind of wrap this up with a little bit of the Champions League talk?
I mean, I'm pretty good. Rome's out. Romelu's finally gone.
Yeah, he is.
That's interesting. And
it's $30 million to Napoli was a little surprising.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of money that's been spent on that man is crazy. I think I saw 400 mil total.
Jesus.
Throughout his career,
props to him though. I'm gonna give him a quick golf clap for that, for finessing everybody in the world of Europe.
Kepa's back.
Kepa is back.
Where
did he go? Bournemouth, that's right.
Back at Bournemouth. Kepa is back, boys.
The big one that we'll touch on next week when we do kind of a transfer window more final recap is Chiesa to Liverpool is a good signing.
For cheap, too.
Yeah, for cheap. And that also just adds another scary, quick attacker. I wonder also if they're preparing for Mo Salah's departure at the end of the year.
I think they are after the season.
Yeah.
Or maybe January, but probably not. I think at the end of the season.
That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, that's about all I have on that. Champions League draw was today. I hate it. I hate the format. Every team plays 8 matches. It's whatever pot you're in. It was like you get 2 teams in pot A or pot 1, 2 in pot 2, 2 in pot 3, 2 in pot 4. Just want to go through like some of the big ones for the Premier League teams. Then if there's any others that really stood out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Man City's 2, right. They have a couple big ones. Juventus away, PSG away, Inter Milan at home. Could say Sporting away is a relatively decent-sized one as well.
Yeah, that'll be good.
But besides that, it's like home to Bruges, home to Prague, home to Feyenoord, at Slava Bratislava.
Slovan Bratislava. They always find a way to cheese their group stage / initial stage games, man. I don't know how they do it. It's every year they get some, like, I mean, sure, the PSG away will be tough, but
It's like PSG doesn't even look like the same team anymore.
they should beat PSG. Juve away could be tough. Sporting away,
Juve need. I think that'll be their hardest match.
probably. I mean, Inter at home, I think they should take care of business. And Sporting's just got that atmosphere, or maybe that can create something. But realistically, everything else is pretty straightforward. I mean, Slovan Bratislava, that's a win. Sparta Prague, that's a win. Feyenoord, that's a win. Bruges, that should be a win. Like, easily. Inter, that should be a win. Yeah, they'll be good.
I'm so confused on what happens next, though, because it's a 36-team league table. I think top 16 teams go through, correct?
Wait, no. It's 8 get a bye, I think, right?
8 get a bye?
I think 8 get a bye, and then the next 16 teams, so 9 through 24, play in the
okay. And then those 8 teams move on.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. It's like, let's make sure that I got that right.
No, I think that's right from what I'm looking at. It's the top 8 teams automatically advance to the knockout phase.
Yeah.
And then the 9 to 24 play each other for 8 spots for in the preliminary knockout.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I was right. I thought I want to make sure I got. It's just so weird seeing this new system. I wanted to make sure I got it right.
And I think that's part of my issue with it. It is brand new. It's very different, but we'll get used to it.
We hate change, but I don't. The group stage was perfect, man.
Oh, I loved it.
It was perfect. I get you want more teams involved so then you can get your bigger clubs in cheeky little ways, but like, my God, man, a 32 team, 8 groups, 4 teams in each group. So perfect, man.
Yep, it really was. But looking at some of these other English teams, Arsenal, home to PSG, at AC Milan, at Sporting, at Atalanta. So get a nice Italian holiday there.
I actually feel pretty decent about Arsenal's. PSG home will be tough, but if I had to play them anywhere, playing at home, I feel pretty good about it.
I think Inter
will be the toughest one. Inter and Sporting will be the toughest ones. Atalanta can also get the trap
game. Sporting just seems like a trap game.
It does. It really does. Again, it's just their fans are so crazy. People don't realize how passionate some of those Portuguese league teams are.
Yeah.
Like their fan base. They go crazy.
I'm not saying you're lucky because I think you'd beat them either way, but not having to go to Zagreb or Ukraine for Shakhtar.
Yeah.
Those are wins.
I don't think the game would it be in Ukraine or would they still have it in Poland?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Either way, I feel confident about Arsenal. I feel confident.
Yeah. I think this is of the English teams. Obviously, Aston Villa is a little lesser so, but they still have some big names, but Liverpool
is stacked.
Liverpool is home to Real Madrid, at Leipzig, at AC Milan, at PSV, home to Bayer Leverkusen, home to Lille, Bologna and Girona, so, but those other 6.
Yeah, they've got a tough one, man.
They have their work cut out for them to say.
I think they'll get through it.
I do too.
Because they're legit, but yeah, they got pretty tough treatment with the drop. PSG got tough treatment too.
Yeah,
they have to play, but
Liverpool, oh God, yeah, Man City, Bayern Munich, Atletico, Arsenal, Eindhoven. Jesus.
Yeah, Liverpool got it the toughest out of all the English teams, but they should still be fine.
Yeah, because I mean, even Aston Villa, you look at who they have to play.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I find it? Bayern Munich, RB Leipzig, Juve, then Bruges, Celtic, Young Boys, Bologna, and Monaco.
Yeah.
Not the worst in the world.
No, it's really not. I think you could see all 4 getting through.
I feel bad. One of the other ones I feel bad for is Brest. Don't know if you've seen theirs.
Did they get nuked? I haven't looked through some of those yet.
Oh, this is the first time I'm kind of actually looking through them. Real Madrid,
my God.
Barcelona, Bayer Leverkusen, Eindhoven, Shakhtar.
I guess the back end gets pretty a lot more doable, but that first little bit is so tough.
Because Eindhoven's not a pushover. RB Salzburg isn't a pushover.
Sparta Prague got a pretty rough one as well. So does
especially away to Sparta Prague.
Yeah.
God damn. Girona as well. Oh God. Home to Liverpool, at PSG, home to Arsenal, at AC Milan, home to Feyenoord, at Eindhoven. Why's everyone in Eindhoven, it seems like?
Dude, Shakhtar got it bad too. Bayern home, Dortmund away, Atalanta home, Arsenal away.
God.
I guess that's everyone though. Like Bruges has it pretty bad too. I think it's just everyone that's not like a top team. Like just with how the format is, like you're gonna kind of get boned in most of your games.
And this is what I think is going to be the issue. It is going to be the top 8 teams easy.
Yeah.
It'll be all the teams from pot 1 you would expect. Could be surprises, like Arsenal could catch fire. Club Bruges, I could see upsetting some teams here and there, but at the end of the day, they won't.
Yeah, maybe Bologna gets a run. Maybe
Yeah.
Verona gets a run, but they kind of got, lost some guys.
It seems like Feyenoord that I could see make a little bit of a run potentially because sure those top 3 are hard. Benfica won't be easy, but it's very doable for a team like that.
Yeah.
The Lille's who could maybe get some stuff done. It's going to take a lot. You look at Celtics. This is the last one I'm going to go in depth on. Celtic has a chance to not run the table, but do pretty well for themselves. Leipzig, Dortmund, Bruges, Atalanta, Young Boys, Zagreb, Slovan Bratislava, and Aston Villa.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all. And this is going to be interesting because as of now, Arsenal sitting second in the table. Haven't played anything, but
yeah, if we end alphabetically, we're doing all right.
Exactly. But hey, who knows? It's going to be a whole new Champions League. Don't actually even know when it kicks off. But seeing a 36-team table is just disgusting.
Yeah, it's so gross to me, dude. I hate all this change that's happening around world football right now.
Yeah, it's not great. And I don't even think we have match days set up yet. So
yeah.
Well, Jackson, any final thoughts, words, advice for the viewers out there?
Nah, I'm drawing a blank. Enjoy the footy. Enjoy both footies.
All the footy.
Mm-hmm.
Great weekend of sport. Those Formula One, tennis, baseball.
Yeah. What a time to be alive.
Oh, yeah. It's just getting better and better. We just need winter to start getting here for hockey, basketball.
Dude, I'm
coming around the corner.
College basketball back, man. Then I'm
college basketball.
24/7 sports.
Oh, we're set. We're so close. Well, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you click that subscribe. Make sure you tune in to all of our episodes of It's Called Football on Vendetta Sports Media's YouTube channel. See you guys next week.